Okay, so good day, no? So next topic that we'll be discussing will be this, urinary system. So basically ngayong finals we'll be discussing four organ systems. So we're actually done with um uh, we're done with the respiratory and the digestive. Now we'll be discussing about the urinary system. So, yan. Lecture outline, syempre, the kidney employ complex series of processes to filter our blood of toxins and to conserve water. So, basically, we have two kidneys, no? Generally, no? The left and the right. And as mentioned last time, no? They are found retroperitoneal. The location of our kidneys is found retroperitoneal. So, ibig sabihin, nasa likod sila, no? Ng abdominal cavity together with the pancreas and the spleen, no? Yan. Okay. So, the function of the urinary system, sabi nga kanina, it is the major excretory system of the body. As another excretory part of the body. However, hindi yun yung main purpose niya would be the digestive system, no? For the secretion nga of excretion of feces or fecal matter, no? Yan. Two kidneys produce excretory products carried by ureters to urinary bladder, which is emptied via the urethra. Um, yan. So, this is your kidneys carried by the ureter. These two long tubes here are called your ureters, and your urethra is yung parang labasan, no? Yung tube labasan. So generally, mas mahaba yung urethra ng males compared sa females, kaya mas prone sa UTI ang females kesa sa males, no? However, you cannot parang neglect, or you cannot totally remove the fact na meron ngang UTI din na cases for males, no? So, yeah. Urine consists of excess water, excess ions, metabolic waste such as urea, protein byproduct, and a toxic substance. Also, sorry about that. And also, um, when we talk about this, excess water, no? Always remember that kung ano yung take in mo na water, yun dapat yung take out na water. Dapat walang naiiwan sa loob, no? Kasi once na may naiiwan sa loob sa loob ng katawan natin na excess water, it might lead to water build-up, causing number one, edema, pwedeng effusions or yung mga basta yung build up, no? So kapag sa baga na ipon, tawag natin doon pleural effusions, no? Pag sa chan, tawag natin doon ascites. Pero pag sa limbs or sa face, no? Sa extremities or sa face, ang tawag natin doon edema, no? Yan. So also excess ions and metabolic waste, syempre. Kapag yung example ko nga nung prelims, no? Kung healthy ba yung pag-inom natin ng um, mga replenishing what do you call this? Replenishing drinks. Yung may mga salt, example, yung mga Gatorade, mga Pocari, yan. Eh, hindi naman tayo nag-exercise o gano'n. So, hindi talaga siya healthy. However, kapag functioning yung kidney mo, kayang-kaya niyang excrete yung mga sobra na yun, no? So, yung mga excess ions na yun para hindi ma-toxic yung katawan mo. Yan. So, yung mga metabolic waste, urea, this is a protein byproduct as mentioned dito nga sa slide na to. Main component to ng protein, no? This is one of the main components of the protein. And kapag na-build up or hindi nga na-excrete, failure of excretion nga ng kidneys, ng urea, it might cause one of the most famous sickness ng mga Asians na walang pinipiling edad, no? Either bata or matanda. We call this gout, no? The gouty arthritis. So, yun, mamamaga yung isang joint, unilateral lang, hindi parehas yung magkabilang extremity, yung namamaga, sobrang sakit, nagko-wax and wane, meron, wala, yan. That's gouty arthritis. And this is caused by excessive buildup of urea na hindi na-excrete ng kidneys. And lastly, toxic substances. The kidneys also serve other metabolic activities. Later on, it will be discussed. Okay. So next slide. Yan, functions of the kidney. Continuation. Excretion of waste products from the blood, no? So 21% the cardiac output is filtered per minute. So significant, no? One fifth ng cardiac output is actually filtered sa sa kidneys natin, no? So one major way is via once na nag-pump yung blood going to the um, from the heart, no? So, yan, from the heart to the aorta, no? Descending aorta to the abdominal aorta. Ayan, dumadaan siya lagi sa kidney. So, always remember na yung arteries natin, yung oxygenated blood, correct? Yung descending aorta natin carries oxygenated blood, as you can see here. So, yung oxygenated blood na galing sa heart, yun yung may waste. Okay? Remember that, no? Yung may waste na blood is actually coming from the abdominal aorta, the oxygenated blood. Siya yung may waste. Then, papasok siya sa kidney niya and via the glomerulus, no? Mafi-filter yung blood na yun. Tapos, lalabas ngayon yung blood dun sa kidneys na wala ng waste. Okay? And also, deoxygenated na siya. Kasi dual purpose, no? Um, Same time lang din na kapag na-filter na yung blood, binibigay na rin nung blood yung oxygen niya dun sa tissues ng kidneys. Tapos kinukuha niya na rin yung carbon dioxide para paglabas niya as one na. Malinis na siya. Tapos ano na, deoxygenated na rin siya. Yan. So the regulation of blood volume and pressure by controlling extracellular fluid volume. Yan. Ito is mention ko to sa respiratory, no? Kasi, di ba sabi ko doon, may mga cells na, I mean, hormones na nag-act sa lungs natin, which actually regulates the blood pressure. And I mentioned doon sa discussion is the ACE or the ACE, the angiotensin converting enzymes, no? It is one of the enzymes that regulates the blood pressure via the RAAS pathway or the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone pathway. Yan. So, regulation of blood solute. Ayan, major ions, sodium, chloride, potassium, calcium, bicarb, tsaka phosphate, as well as urea. And regulation of extracellular fluid pH by secreting hydrogen ion. Kasi, bakit na-affect yung pH? It's because H plus is an indicator for acidity, di ba? So, kapag na-regulate natin yung hydrogen sa kidneys natin, therefore, mababawasan yung acidity ng blood. Hindi lang yun, no? Kasi sa kidneys din natin, sa glomerulus, no? Yan, sa glomerulus natin, meron din tayong regulation ng bicarb. And bicarbonate is the one regulating or major responsible sa alkalinity naman ng blood. So again, sa acidity would be the hydrogen, no? And the alkalinity would be the bicarbonate. Next is the regulation of red blood cell synthesis by secreting erythropoietin. Yan. So, mentioned, no, or as we've discussed sa skeletal system, no, skeletal system actually creates the red blood cells, which are the yun nga, erythrocytes, no, sa red bone marrow sila nasisynthesize. However, sa kidneys, no, additional support on the creation of the red blood cells is actually happening inside the kidneys, and it is via the secretion of the protein erythropoietin. That's why kapag may mga kamag-anak kayo, no, na undergoing dialysis, ibig sabihin meron na silang chronic kidney disease, stage 5, ganyan, yung as in, sira na talaga yung kidneys nila. Yan. Most of the time, or more likely than not, no, yung production na ng blood cells nila ay compromised. So, meron buwanan, no, every dialysis may buwanang lab results or laboratory check-up para makita kung asan yung levels na ng RBCs nila or the red blood cells nila. And then, since hindi na nga makapag-produce ng enough erythropoietin yung kidneys nila, binibigyan natin sila ng erythropoietin na from external source, no? So, sinasaksakan natin sila ng erythropoietin, no? We call it EPO or epoetin alpha. Yan. And lastly, regulation of vitamin D synthesis to help regulate the blood calcium. Yan, paulit-ulit na rin natin, na-discuss na natin sa blood, no? That vitamin D and blood calcium goes hand in hand, no? So kapag mataas yung vitamin D mo, it will be converted later on to cholecalcitriol o cholecalciferol, no? Which is a part of your vitamin D synthesis. Tapos nag-regulate din yun sa calcium mo together with the parathyroid hormone. Yan. So, connected silang lahat. Later on, may diagram tayo about this one. Okay. So, the kidney anatomy and histology, no? The location of your kidney is, your kidney is actually a bean-shaped. As you can see here, bean-shaped organs mentioned na natin, located retroperitoneal, behind the peritoneum or in the non-mesenteric region of the abdomen. Yan. So, nasa likod. Okay. So, kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng um, uh, nephrectomy, pag sinabi nating nephrectomy, tinatanggal natin yung kidneys, no? Ang incision natin usually ay sa likod, no? Doon tayo magka-cut sa likod, hindi sa harap, sa likod. So, yung mga nakikita natin sa social media na nakapag-donate daw ng kidney, nakabili ng ganito, ganyan, pwede naman na sa harap. However, marami kang tatagpusin na organs or visceral organs to reach the kidney. And one more thing, usually yung pinapakita nilang incision is nandito sa baba, no? Dito sa baba ng chan or sa may pelvis area na, pelvic area na. Nandun daw yung cut nila, ganyan. However, yung location ng kidneys is nandun sa taas, no? Malapit na sa ribs, no? So, ayan. Just to, remove the stigma. Para, kunwari, may nakita kayo nag-donate daw ng kidney. So, sabi niya, uy, napag-aralan namin na hindi totoo yan, no? Nasa likod yan ng, ng mesentery, non-mesenteric region, nasa retroperitoneal area. Ganyan. So, ayan siya. However, we can access it, no, from inside, from anteriorly. Pero yun, sabi ko nga, marami tayong tatagpusin na organs to reach that. However, it's not impossible for us to reach it mula sa anterior. Mas madali nga lang siya kapag nasa side flank tayo nag-cut. However, maraming muscles dyan, lalong-lalo na sa likod, no? Marami ring muscles sa likod. So, ayan. Lie on the posterior abdominal wall on either side of the vertebral column. As you can see, this is the vertebral column. Yan, no? Close proximity lang siya doon sa vertebra. Lumbar vertebrae and rib cartilage, rib cage partially protect this. Yan. So makikita nyo, no? Partially nakaangat. Actually, nasa taas nga ng nakapasok na nga yung almost half ng left kidney doon sa ribs natin. And the right kidney is slightly lower than the left, mainly because of the liver, no? Mas mataas lagi yung left kasi yung liver natin is predominantly nasa right. So, push down yung right kidney natin. Yan. Again, this one is your body wall, no? Anterior, ito yung harap. Posteriorly, as you can see here, mahirap siyang i-access sa likod as mentioned earlier kasi nga madaming muscles na nakikita posteriorly, no? Yung mga interspinalis natin. We also have those other big muscles right in there like the longissimus dorsi, latissimus dorsi and stuff, no? So sobrang dami. Aside from that, we have the psoas muscle pa. na nakakonect sa thigh, sa hita natin nakakonect to. So, sobrang habang muscle nito. So, mahirap siyang i-access sa likod. So, most likely, access natin is anteriorly, pero marami nga tayong tatagpusin na organs. Okay? And the location and external anatomy of kidneys. External anatomy, we have the renal capsule. Remember, capsule, no? Encapsulated ang ang liver, mayroon siyang sariling capsule. Ah, so, sabi ko kanina, may capsule nga yung kidney, no? We call it the Bowman, no? Bowman's capsule. Ayun yung capsule niya. It is a fibrous connective tissue that surrounds the kidney. No, ano ang spelling ng Bowman? Let me try to annotate. Oh, ay, pangit naman na sulat. Let clear. Okay. Bowman. Ano ba? Wait. Yan. Bowman's capsule. Yan. Bowman's capsule ang tawag natin sa renal capsule. No? So, yun lang. Okay. And then we have the adipose tissue as well. So adipose tissue engulfs the renal capsule. So aside from the capsule na naka naka-enclose yung kidney doon, meron pang adipose, may fats na nakaikot din doon sa kidneys. And lastly, we also have a renal fascia, a thin layer of loose connective tissue that anchors the kidney and its surrounding adipose to the abdominal wall. Siya yung nagko-connect, no? Hindi lang nakalutang basta yan dyan, no? Meron siyang connection sa abdominal wall and it is via the renal fascia. So, once again, once we open, no, an abdomen, halimbawa, binuksan natin to for surgery, ganyan. And then we try to look for the kidneys. Hindi natin siya makikitang ganyan itself per se, no? Hindi siya biglang bean shape, kulay brown. Ganyan. Hindi ganyan yung itsura niya. What we'll see is a very adipose rich na parang mass. May mass na puro fat cells. And then when we try to get a grip or hold of it, yun, malalaman natin na, uy, ano to, dense to, solid mass. And that would be your kidney already. Okay. So the hilum, no? Hilum is the renal artery and nerves where the renal artery and nerves enter and renal veins exit and the ureter exit the kidney. So when we talk about the hilum, ito siya. No? This is the renal hilum. Kung saan pumapasok, ayan. This is your renal hilum. Nandito lahat-lahat ng mga tubes na pumapasok loob, na lumuloob, pumapasok sa loob at lumalabas sa kidney. So we have your renal artery at nerves na pumapasok dyan. At ang lumalabas dyan ay yung veins natin together with your ureter. This is your ureter. Yan. Opens the into renal sinus, a cavity filled with fat and loose connective tissue. Yan. So, yan yung hilum lahat yan. Yan lahat yan, hilum yan. So, for the internal anatomy of the kidney, yan, anatomy and histology, yung outer area as mentioned every time, no? Ilang beses na rin nating nasabi. General term, pag sinabi nating outer area, we call that cortex, no? And yung inner area, we call that the medulla. No? So, the cortex and the medulla. Cortex, medulla. Cortex outside, medulla inside. Yan. So, the cortex is the outer area and it forms or it has the renal columns. Excuse me, yan. So, it is a part of the cortical tissue that extends into the medulla. So, this is the renal capsule. This is your cortex. Yan. Very rich sa blood vessels and vasculature. Meron mga cortical tissue since cortex, yung may mga cortical tissue dyan. And the medulla is the inner area that surrounds the renal sinus. Ito yung renal medulla natin. Okay. Yan ang renal medulla. And our renal sinus or the spaces is this one, no? Yung spaces inside. So as you can see here, may mga blood vessels na pumapasok ito yung hilum natin, no? This is your hilum. Papasok yung renal arteries to give blood for oxygenation and carries waste product, no? Pasok sila dyan. Tapos, we also have the nerves kasi hindi pinakita dito, napapasok din dyan. And then, ito yung glomerulus natin, ay the pyramids, no? The renal pyramids, kung saan natin nakikita yung glomerulus natin. And then, once na na-filter na yung kidney, ay yung waste products dyan, yung water, ions, metabolic waste and stuff, toxins, magfo-flow out na siya dito, no? Catching basin niya, ang tawag natin dyan ay calyx, no? So, dyan mag-filter out yung mga waste products na maiipon dito sa ureter, na lalabas sa ureter via the hilum rin lang, no? So, dito lalabas dyan yung ihi. And kapag na deoxygenate na yung blood, deoxygenated na yung blood, ayan, lalabas na siya dito sa renal vein. So parts of the medulla, we have the renal pyramids, no? The renal pyramid, this one is your renal pyramid. This is your renal pyramid, yan. A cone-shaped base projects into the cortex. Yung base niya, base ng pyramid, syempre, di ba, mas malaki yung base, di ba? So, yung base niya is projected sa cortex. Mas malapit siya sa cortex as medullary rays. And the apex of the pyramid is the renal papilla. Yan, as you can read it here, no? Yan yung tip. It points towards the sinus. This is the free space, no? Points towards the sinus, towards the calyx. So, we have calyxes, the calyces. So, the major calyx, the minor calyx, sorry, the papillae extend into into funnel or of minor calyx. Yan. So, yung papilla, yan, nag-extend siya dun sa funnel ng minor. However, yung major, yun yung nagko-converge para ma-form yung renal pelvis. Ito sila. Yan. Ito yung renal pelvis. Yan. Yan. Ito yung renal pelvis. So, magko-converge yung mga yan to form your major calyx. Ito yung minor. Ito yung major. Okay. The renal pelvis is a large chamber formed by major calyces. Yan. Malaking chamber formed by major calyces. The ureter is the ureter exits at the hilum. This is the hilum nga of your kidney and connects to the urinary bladder. So mahaba yan hanggang ma-reach yung urinary bladder. Ayan. Ureter hanggang ma-reach niya yung urinary bladder. Ayan yung urinary bladder. Okay. So yan, on a cadaver, no? Hindi siya ganito kaganda, no? Masyadong diagrammatic again. Sabi ko nga sa inyo many times, no? Diagrammatic lang yung drawings na daw. But when you try to look at a kidney in a real life situation, no? Ito medyo preserved na. Pero once nakakita ka nito, medyo may dugo-dugo pa, reddish pa siya, no? As you can see, this is your capsule. This is your renal cortex. Ito na yung renal medulla mo with your pyramids, no? Yan. Yung dulo niya is your papilla and your base is projected towards the cortex. This is your calyx, no? Your minor calyx is here. Yan. Tapos kapag nag-converge siya into major calyx, yan, major calyx, yung grupo or convergence naman ng major calyces will now form your renal pelvis and this will become now your ureter. Yan. Nandyan na yung ihe. Dadaan dyan yung ihe palabas. However, and this is the hilum nga ng kidney, no? Your renal artery will enter and this one is your, excuse me, sorry, sorry. So your renal sinus is this one, yung hollow space dun sa kidneys natin. This is where naman also co-inhabitates your renal vein. Ayan sila. Ayan, palabas. Okay. So, yun. May ipon yung ihi doon. As you can, we tried to imagine earlier, may ipon yung urine, ma-form yung urine, may ipon dito up until port siya papunta sa nagko-collect ng urine or nag-hold ng urine. Yung pantog in Tagalog, no? We called it the urinary bladder. So dito naiipon yung urine bago bago siya mailabas. So after ng urinary bladder, we have your urethra, no? Kapag ganito lang ka-excess, sabi ko nga sa females, no? Pero kapag mahaba to, since merong tube or merong Yung may tinatawag tayo sa males na penile urethra, no? Yung dumadaan sa penis ng mga guys. So yon mahaba siya, no? So again, kaya mas prone sa urinary tract infection yung mga babae dahil maikli lang to urethra. So once pumasok yung microbes dyan, they can eventually form some inflammation here causing UTI inflammation. Yan, structure of a nephron. Sabi ko kanina, ay kung meron tayong class functional what do you call that basic structural and functional unit of the nervous system, we call it the neuron, tama. Sa kidneys naman, the basic structural and functional unit of a kidney is what we call the nephron. Yan. Nephron is the functional and histological unit of the kidney. So we have regions of a nephron. Okay, we have the renal corpuscle, we have the proximal convoluted tubule, we have the nephron loop or the loop of Henle, and the distal convoluted tubule. So ano yung mga yon? So we have the renal corpuscle, as you can see it here. This one, your glomerulus and your Bowman's capsule is what you call this one, the renal corpuscle. Yan. So yan, Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus form your renal corpuscle, no? So yan, afferent arteriole from the renal artery. Guys, ito na naman yung terms na afferent and efferent, no? Pag sinabi nating afferent, towards, tama? Pag sinabi nating efferent, away, no? Papunta na doon, paalis na. So, paano nangyayari yan? Afferent, papunta pa lang siya sa Bowman's capsule. Okay? Pag nandun na siya sa Bowman's capsule, inside the Bowman's capsule, sa glomerulus, once na na-filter out na, as you can see by that arrow, indicated by that arrow, no? Once na excreted na yung mga toxins dyan, mga ions and water, lalabas na siya dyan sa glomerulus. And this is now your efferent arteriole from the glomerulus na galing na siya doon. Ito, afferent from the renal artery. So, papunta pa lang siya, afferent. Once galing na siya doon, efferent na siya, no? Naka-at least na. Okay? So the next part of this nephron, so yan, Bowman's capsule. Ayan, sorry. So aside from going, so done na-filter na, no? Pero hindi pa tapos ni artery yung trabaho niya. It needs to deliver the oxygenated blood pa. So it will move towards the whole nephron hanggang makapunta siya sa capillaries, magagas exchange niya dyan, and then eventually magkakaroon na tayo ng deoxygenated blood, babalik na siya sa veins, lalabas na. Ito na yung renal vein, no? So okay. Next part of the nephron will be your proximal convoluted tubule. Bakit siya proximal convoluted tubule? Pag proximal, pinakamalapit, tama? So this is proximal to the glomerulus, pinakamalapit sa glomerulus, and it is convoluted. Convoluted. Uh, Silpo-silpo. If that's, if you try, if you understand that, no? Buhol-buhol. Yan. Buhol-buhol siya. Yan. This is your proximal convoluted tubules. Then this is your loop of Henle, no? Or the nephron loop. We have the descending limb and the ascending limb. Take note of this one. Pagpunta dito, yung descending is very thin, payat siya. Once it reaches the ascending limb, tataba siya ulit, no? That's what you call the loop of Henle. And the descending limb and the ascending limb. Ayan. And then, pag nakalagpas na siya dyan, pag nakalagpas na siya dyan sa ascending limb na yan, it will now reach your distal convoluted tubule. This one is your distal convoluted tubule. And lastly, this is your collecting duct papunta na palabas, no? Palabas na papunta na sa calyces mo. Okay? So the path of urine is produced by the path of urine produced by the nephron, no? So from the distal convoluted tubule, urine na yan. It will proceed to the collecting duct. Yan, collecting duct. Yung mga yan, towards the renal papilla, yung tip ng pyramid natin kanina, to the papillary duct, to the minor calyx, and beyond, as mentioned earlier. Now, types of nephron, kasi maraming types depende sa location nila, no? Number one, we have the juxtamedullary nephrons. These are the renal corpuscles of these nephrons are near the cortical medullary border. The nephron loops extend deep into the medulla. So, sobrang malalim, no? So, ano yung itsura niya? This one. Ito siya. Ito yung mga yun. no? Ganito siya kahaba, the juxtamedullary, no? So, um, masyado siyang deep papunta sa medalla. So, sobrang lalim ng nephron loops or the loop of Henle niya. As you can see here, no? From the corpuscle, proximal convoluted yan. Pababa, the descending loop, nasabi kong payat. Then the ascending loop, then eventually biglang tataba, thick, ascending limb. Tapos distal convoluted, then the collecting duct, no? That's the juxtamedullary. Malalim. It reaches the cortical medulla. While as for the cortical nephrons naman, yung mas malapit naman na yung renal corpuscle sa periphery ng cortex. So mas malapit siya dun sa gilid. Ito mas malapit siya sa medulla, sa loob ng kidney. Ito mas malapit siya sa labas, no, yung corpuscle. So the cortical nephron, since cortical siya, mas malapit siya sa cortex, and yung loop of Henle niya hindi siya malalim sa medulla. Yan. So, proximal convoluted, ito yung descending loop, a-ascend na siya agad, no? Distal convoluted, and then the collecting ducts. The filtration part of the nephron is called the renal corpuscle. No? Yung filtration part, yung nasa loob. Yan. That is the renal corpuscle where you can see the Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus. No? Side. Yan, Bowman's capsule, the renal corpuscle, sabi ko kanina, yung Bowman's capsule is the outer parietal, no? And visceral, which has podocytes. Yung podocytes later on is yung makikita nyo may mga butas-butas siya, no? Kung saan magta-transfuse, nakikita siya dito. Dito magdi-diffuse yung mga ions, water, and toxic materials. And the glomerulus is a network of capillaries. Ayan siya, yung mga glomerulus. Network of capillaries, blood enters through afferent arteriole and exit through efferent arteriole. Remember, kapag papunta pa lang doon, afferent from the renal artery, papasok sa glomerulus, no? Then lalabas via the efferent artery from the glomerulus na. Okay? The capsule, double-walled chamber, ayan, surrounds the glomerulus, network of capillaries. Blood flows from the parent. Ayan. Okay, ito na, andito na yung podocyte and the visceral layer as you can see and the parietal layer. So double-walled siya sabi natin, di ba? So double-walled, ayan yung first wall, ayan yung second wall. This is your visceral layer known as the podocyte. Sabi ko dyan nga na lumalabas, no? Lumalabas yung water and toxic material from the blood. Yeah. So this is your renal corpuscle, yung buong yan. It has your glomerular capillary covered by visceral layer and the capsule. Capsule mo may two types, no? Parietal and visceral. And this is your proximal convoluted na. So, afferent arteriole, ayan na yung glomerulus and the efferent arteriole. Yan. And then ito, the juxtaglomerular apparatus, no? It composed of your juxtaglomerular cell. Ayun siya. And also your macula densa. So, paano siya, yung macula densa mo is the borders of your distal convoluted tubule. Yung juxtaglomerular is in between your afferent arteriole and your distal convoluted tubules. So, juxtaglomerular cells, ayan siya. And your macula densa is this one. Together, we call them the juxtaglomerular apparatus. Yan. Fenestrae. May question ba dito? Wala naman. Basta simple squamous yung parietal, tas specialized yung podocytes, yung visceral. And fenestrae and filtration slits, window-like openings in the endothelial cells of the glomerular capillaries. Yan. Fenestra. Pag sinabi nating fenestra, yan, mga window-like, mga butas-butas sa loob, no, ng glomerular capillaries. While as when we talk about the filtration slits, yan, nasa labas naman siya, gaps between the cell processes of the podocytes, since these are the podocytes. The basement membrane sandwich between the endothelial cells of the glomerular capillaries and the podocytes. And dyan siya lumalabas, no? So, may butas sa loob, kung saan dadaan yung blood, syempre dadaan yung blood sa loob. Mga butas-butas na yan, dyan magdi-diffuse or lalabas yung toxic materials and yung water. And palabas na dun sa mismong glomerulus, we have this one, the podocytes with their filtration slits. Yan. So, ayan. If we try to look closer, no? Yung filtration membrane is composed of the capillary endothelium, the basement membrane, and the podocytes. First stage of urine formation occurs here when fluid from the blood in capillaries moves across filtration membrane into the lumen of the Bowman, inside the Bowman's capsule. So, yan. Once na nag-move ngayon, yung blood dun sa capillary, as you can see, ito red blood cells na yun. So, ibig sabihin, sobrang liliit lang talaga ng fenestra, no? Yung butas sa loob ng capillaries. So, hindi maaalaw dapat yung red blood cells na lumabas sa ihi, no? So, kapag may nakitang red blood cells sa ihi or may dugo sa ihi, madami ng indication yun, no? Kapag mataas yung red blood cells, tas galing niya pwedeng PSGN, no? Yung glomerulonephritis, no? Post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis or pwedeng may trauma, ganyan, sa madami, no? So, basically, ang idea lang dito is dapat hindi makakalabas yung red blood cells dun sa fenestra, dun sa butas. Dapat walang makikitang red blood cells dun sa ihi. Ayan. So, ayan, yung fenestra, yung butas dun sa endothelium, tapos yung processes ng podocyte, this is your podocyte, and yung filtration slits, ayan na siya. Ito yung itsura ng slits niya. Characteristics of the renal corpuscle for filtration, yung porous capillaries, fenestrae allow high permeability of glomerular capillaries, large proteins, ayan. Porous visceral layer, yung slits, sabi ko nga kanina, and due to the high pressure nga ng capillaries, yun, tataas yung glomerular capillaries have high pressure because the efferent arteriole leaving the corpuscle have smaller diameter than the afferent arteriole that enters the corpuscle. So, mas maliit yung afferent, therefore, mas maiipon yung blood, mas matadami yung blood volume doon, tataas yung pressure. So, mataas yung pressure dito. So, ma-force yung fluid, tsaka yung yung water and yung impurities na diffuse out doon sa mismong capillary. Now, the JGA or the juxtaglomerular apparatus, no, as mentioned earlier, made siya by two things, the juxtaglomerular cells and the macula densa, no? So, ano nga ba yung dalawang yon? Ay, para saan ba yon? These are special structures in the glomerulus, which is the site of the renin production. Familiar, renin? Paulit-ulit ko sinasabi kanina, it is one of the main component of your body to regulate blood pressure by calibrating the blood volume, no? The renin, angiotensin, aldosterone secretin pathway, no? The RAAS pathway. So yan, juxtaglomerular cells are the ring of smooth muscles in the afferent arteriole. Afferent arteriole, so papunta, no? Where the latter enters the glomerular capsule. Ayan. And the macula densa, this is a specialized tubule cells of the distal convoluted tubule. Sabi ko kanina, distal convoluted tubule that lies between the afferent and the efferent arteriole. Nasa gitna siya. Yeah. Let's proceed, no? So, proceeding. Ito, basically, super simplified na to. When you, again, mga ina-encourage ko na medicine, med school, no? Pumasok sa med school. This is a very, very complex part, no? Ng kidney or um, ng kidney. The nephron itself. Sobrang daming nangyayari dito at hindi ito ganito kasimple, no? Yung simpleng sodium na yan, yung pagpalabas ng sodium na yan, ang toxic, sobrang hirap niyan, no? Okay, so sige. So the proximal convoluted tubule is made up of simple cuboidal epithelium with many microvilli. Ayan siya. So ganyan na 'yon. Okay? So makikita nyo dito, lumalabas, no? Yung mga nutrients lalabas, water, papasok yung hydrogen at uh, ammonia, ammonium, papasok dyan, no? Ang potassium lalabas, bicarbonate, doon, lalabas na rin agad dyan, simula pa lang, no? So, okay. And then, it will then move to the first part of the nephron loop, which is your descending lip. Yan. Proximal tubule. A latter part, simple squamous and thinner. Yan. Sa descending loop, Ang kailangan nyo lang i-memorize dyan ay water, descending water, no? Pababa, waterfalls. Water lang ang lalabas, no? Pero kapag dumating na tayo sa ascending limb, no? Ang lumalabas ngayon dito or nafi-filtrate ay sodium chloride or asin, no? Salt. So, pagpataas na, pagpaakyat na, asin. So, waterfalls. Water descending, asin ascending, no? Distal convoluted tubule shorter than proximal. So, mas mahaba pa rin si proximal. However, simple cuboidal cells pero konti na lang yung microvilli niya. Again, mas maraming na diffuse dito sa proximal compared sa distal. Dito, sodium ay salt pa din, pero papasok na yung chloride, hydrogen pa rin, lalabas pa rin yung bicarbonate and water, no? And then, what it once it passes through your distal tubules or distal DCT or distal convoluted tubules, dadaan na siya sa collecting ducts. This one is your collecting ducts na where many distant tubules come together, larger diameter, form medullary rays leading to the tips of the renal pyramids. Ayan, papunta na siya sa renal pyramid. Ayan. So, histologically, ganyan ang itsura nila, no? Ito yung renal corpuscle, ganun lang siya kaliit. Okay. Arteries and veins of the kidneys. First is your renal artery. Yan, renal artery, uh, branch off ay from the abdominal aorta and form the segmented arteries. So, this is your renal artery forming your segmental arteries. Nasaan siya? Segmental, wala. Hindi na pinakita dito. So, these are your segmental arteries, no? Segmented na siya. One, two, segments. Next is the interlobar, no? So, the interlobar arteries, yan, each lobes meron, ascend within the renal columns toward the cortex. Yan, papunta siya sa cortex. Pag nakareach na siya sa cortex, magkakaroon ng arcuate arteries, no? Branch and arch over the base of the pyramids. Ito na yung sila arcuate, no? Arcuate. And then, yung lalabas pa towards the cortex will be your cortical radiate arteries, no? So, mula sa arcuate, lalabas pa sila, no? Lalabas pa sila towards the cortex. That's what you call the cortical radiate arteries. And also, we have the afferent arterioles that carries blood towards the glomerulus. Ayan. May papasok dun sa glomerulus. That's what we call the afferent arterioles. Meanwhile, we have the glomerular arteries. Ayan. Yung mga nasa loob na. Ayan. Ito yung afferent arterioles natin. And nasa loob na. And then once nakalabas, we call that the efferent arteriole. Okay? Aside from that, pag tapos na siyang dumaan sa afferent arteriole, we have the peritubular capillaries form the plexus around the proximal and distal tubules. So this is what we call yung mga blood vessels dito is what we call the peritubular capillaries na. Yan. And lastly, the vasa recta, no? Specialized parts of the peritubular capillaries that course into the medulla of the nephron. Ito sila, vasa recta. So kapag nasa proximal and distal convoluted tubules, ang tawag natin sa kanila ay peritubular capillaries. Basta um, proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, pareho silang tubule. So yung tawag sa blood vessel sa kanila ay peritubular kasi nga tubule silang parehas, no? Peritubular capillaries. Pero kapag nasa loop of Henle yung capillary, we call that the vasa recta, no? Yeah. We have the peritubular, yung next once tapos na, no? Yung peritubular capillaries, saan sila pupunta? Once na-carry na nila yung deoxygenated blood, pupunta na sila sa interlobar vein. Lalabas na siya sa interlobar vein, followed by the arcuate vein, interlobular, sorry. The interlobular vein, ito. Interlobular vein. Hindi ata pinakita dito. Interlobular artery yan eh. Yan. Yan. Kung nakikita nyo to, ang interlobar yan eh. Okay. Yung interlobular vein, yung mga nasa loob, yung maliliit, yan, interlobular vein, followed by the arcuate vein. Remember, ang arcuate arteries natin is around the base of the pyramid, tama? So, yung katabi niya is yung vein, okay? Around the base of the renal pyramid. And then, interlobar, nandito na tayo. Finally, magda-drain silang lahat sa renal vein. Okay? So, the renal artery going to the segmental arteries, followed by the interlobar arteries, then going to your arcuate, and then mag-interlobar, and then yung iba magiging cortical radiate, no? Then sa afferent arteries, na papasok sa nephron, papasok sa glomerulus, lalabas as efferent arteries. Yung iba magiging peritubular capillaries para sa DCT at PCT. And yung iba magiging vasa recta na mag-govern doon sa may loop of Henle, no? And then after doon, magde-drain yung blood na yon sa interlobular veins, ay yung mga yan dito sa interlobular veins. Then following it will be your arcuate vein, which is found beside your arcuate artery at the base of your pyramids. And then sa interlobar artery, and lastly sa renal veins. Ayan. So ganun ang blood flow natin. Okay? So urine production serves as a major functional unit as they regulate the body fluid composition. May three major steps. So urine formation, we have filtration, which occurs sa corpuscle, no? The tubular reabsorption, which happens to your proximal convoluted tubule, the tubular secretion na nangyayari sa distal convoluted tubule. Again, we have the initial filtration occurs at the corpuscle, no? Then the tubular reabsorption sa PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, and tubular secretion ang mangyayari naman. So absorption yan, reabsorption. Secretion naman yung isa sa distal convoluted tubule na. Okay. So you can just read on this for um, um, mas clear explanation. Pero the whole point is ganun yung nangyayari, no? As mentioned earlier. Okay. So, movement sa filtration, ayan. So, processes, filtration, reabsorption, secretion, excretion. Filtration sa glomerulus, reabsorption, PCT, secretion, loop of Henle, DCT, and excretion dito na sa collecting ducts. Okay. So, filtrate, ang pagpasok na dito, no, ng dugo sa glomerular capillaries, no, yung filtrate natin are water, small molecules, ion that can pass through the membranes. Ano yung membrane? Yung basement membrane, yung fenestra, and also your slits, no? Filtration slits na nakikita dun sa projection ng podocytes. Yan. So, yan, may pressure difference din. Yan, para walang balikan. So, mas mataas yung pressure dyan compared dito. So, para hindi babalik yung water doon. Okay? Kaya malakas yung pressure kasi mas maliit yung afferent arteriole kesa dun sa, mas manipis yung afferent arteriole compared sa afferent. And nabibuild yung pressure dito. So, walang babalik, no, na fluids. Next is the renal fraction. The total cardiac output, sabi ko nga kanina, varies from 12 to 30. Average is 21. So, mataas yung percentage ng napapump na 21% of your blood is actually being pumped to your renal arteries. No? Ganun siya kalakas. Okay. So, renal blood flow, yan. Renal plasma, o na rin. So, the GFR, ito, lagi natin kino-compute to, no? Lalong-lalo na sa hospital. Kapag may kidney disease or kaya bang i-excrete ng isang patient natin yung bibigay nating medications na excreted via, the urine. Mm, for the GFR, yan. Sabi ko nga, needed yan, no? The amount of filtrate produced each minute is 180 liters per day, no? So, ganun kadami. That's the GFR. So, how do we compute for the GFR? We have the renal plasma flow times the filtration fraction. Yan, fraction. Average niya is 19%, no? Part of the plasma that is filtered into the lumen of the glomerular capsule. The average urine production per day is 1 to 2 liters. Most of the filtrate must be reabsorbed. And so ganun kadami, no? The average urine production today is per day is 1 to 2 liters. Kaya it is advisable for everyone, no, na nire-recommend natin na drink at least 8 glasses of water per day. Kasi nga, ang 8 glasses is equivalent to 2 liters, no? Approximately around 8 liters. Yan. So, filtration membrane, ayan, sabi ko nga, it is made of three components, the fenestrated glomerular capillaries mula sa loob, the basement membrane, and the podocytes, no? Yung may slits, no? Filtration slits of the podocytes. Okay. Uh, Filtration pressure, wag na yan. Glomerular nephritis. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, no? Na since inflamed, no? Kapag inflamed na ngayon or may infection, no? Pag may infection yung kidneys, no? Pwedeng yung osmotic pressure sa Bowman capsule magiging close to zero. Dahil yun nga, example is na yung glomerular nephritis. Pag ganun yung nangyari, aakyat yung number ng filtrate, no? Ibig sabihin, tataas yung partial pressure ng blood, bababa yung osmotic pressure, so hindi nare-receive pabalik yung mga filtrate. Thus, ang mangyayari, magkakaroon ng madaming proteins dun sa ihi, also known as proteinuria. Yan. Ito yung mga nangyayari kapag may high glomerular cap. Ito yung reasons kung bakit tumataas yung um, mataas yung glomerular capillary pressure. Maliit lang yung resistance dun sa blood flow ng afferent arterioles. Dapat mataas yan. Low resistance of blood flow. Dapat meron. And high resistance of blood flow in the efferent. Dapat low. Kasi nga, hindi. Ito yung normal, no? Ito yung normal. Dapat high yung capillary pressure. Kasi mababa yung resistance ng blood flow sa afferent. Kasi nga nagpo-pull siya sa glomerulus. Mababa din yung resistance dapat sa glomerular filtration. Kasi nga adequate yung size ng capillaries. And high dapat yung resistance ng blood flow sa afferent. Kasi nga mas maliit yung diameter ng blood vessels. Ayan. Kapag na-damage yung glomerular capillaries, ay isa sa nakaka-damage sa glomerular capillaries dahil nga nababago yung pressure ng blood is this is entity known as the hypertension since nababago na alter. GCP, can just read on these ones. Autoregulation. Mm, Yan, may mga feedback din tayo, myogenic response and tuboglomerular feedback mechanisms. Paano nangyayari? Tubular reabsorption. Dito nangyayari nga. Sabi ko, ang reabsorption, again, going back pag filtration tayo, is sa glomerulus, no? Kapag may filtration, pag may reabsorption, tubular reabsorption sa PCT tayo. Kapag may excretion, is dito tayo sa DCT naman, no? So, sa reabsorption, no, transport of water and solutes from the filtrate into the blood occurs as filtrate flows to lumens of the renal tubule. So, dito nangyayari yan yung reabsorption as you can see, no? Nare-reabsorb. Solutes reabsorbs, water flows. Tapos dito, water permeable. Dito naman yung nare-reabsorb yung solutes sa ascending. Descending, water. Ascending, solutes. Yan. Masyado lang malalim. If you're very much interested, you can read on these ones, no? Ito yung way kung paano nga mag-reabsorb ng solute sa proximal convoluted tubules. Yeah. Ayun, may support pa tayo doon, no? May glucose importer tayo doon. Sodium glucose importer ang tawag natin dyan. Yan, reabsorption sa nephron loop or the loop of Henle na sinasabi ko, no? Water lang pagpababa, solutes lang pagpataas. Ito na yung mahirap na part, no? Kasi merong osmoles, no? Yung osmolarity, iba-iba. pagdating sa iba't ibang tubules, iba-iba. Yan. Gusto ko lang makuha nyo is yung overview, no? Yung overview lang kasi hindi naman itatanong sa inyo yung ganito kalalalim. Bibigyan lang kayo ng ideas kasi ay gusto ko lang na magkaroon kayo ng idea kung ano nangyayari per part kasi later on pag-aaralan nyo rin yung pharmacologic treatment para sa mga ganito and at least alam nyo kung saan na-absorb majority of water ay nung water saan siya na-absorb may na-absorb bang water dito. Ayan. Ano yung pinaka-filtration part? Ayan. Yun. So, yun yung dapat na maintindihan nyo dito. Okay. Urea, yan sa glomerular filtrate yan. Sa glomerulus pa lang, no? Again, urea is a byproduct of your protein breakdown, no? So, kapag naparami ka ng kain ng beans, karne, yan, may mga high protein yan. Tapos, hindi ma-excrete, no? Hindi mailabas ng katawan mo yung urea, yan, mapupuno ng urea yung joints causing inflammation known as infection known as um, gouty arthritis. Okay. Tubular secretion, ito nangyayari sa DCT, as mentioned earlier. Pwede siyang active or passive. Makikita nyo dun sa table kanina or dun sa illustration na pinakita ko kanina kung ano yung alin doon yung active transport and yung passive transport, no? Pag active ulit, kailangan niya ng ATP. Pag passive, syempre hindi niya kailangan ng ATP. Yung, okay. Hmm. Ba't nandito to? Okay. Yan. Always remember, no, that it is always an interplay between ions, no? Kidneys always have this interplay between ions and most especially yung hydrogen ang pinakamahalaga dyan. Laging hydrogen in exchange for sodium. Kailangan nating ilabas yung sodium. And also, kailangan may support tayo from potassium. Simport, laging simport yan. This is very much complex again. I was instructed to give you the basic overview or oversight ng nangyayaring absorption. Kasi kapag binombard ko kayo dito, baka um, kailangan ko rin gawin doon sa iba. No? So, nursing level, no? Bachelor's level lang ng explanation. Yan. Ito, meron na tayong mga simports, mga protein, integral proteins, yung mga to, mga aquaporin 1, UTA2, aquaporin 1, uh, chloride, ano na to? Chloride potassium import yan. The ROMK1 is very, meticulous, lalong-lalo na sa mga drugs, no? Lagi siyang, target ng drugs. Actually, kaya pinakita tong slides na to, or I mean tong picture na to is because these ones are the target, no? The target proteins of your drugs. Yung mga gamot na either pampaihi, ganyan. So, halimbawa, yung mga potassium sparing drugs, no? So, kapag potassium sparing, hindi ka mag-excrete ng potassium. So, magsasara dapat yung mga nag-excrete ng potassium na imports, ganyan. Kasi spare mo, no? Yan. So, yan yung mga yan. Later on, pag-aaralan nyo yun sa pharmacologic advances training, advances lecture nyo yun. Lalong-lalo na sa nephron drugs, kidney drugs, no? Ito, mahirap tong part na to. Oo, ang mahirap kong inaral din to. Kasi nakakalito siya. Basta ang deal dito is the more you go deep into the medulla, no, the higher the osmolality pressure. So mas mahirap lumabas yung solutes kapag nasa loob, mas malalim ka doon sa medulla. Okay. And ang type lang ng nephron na nagdidig deep or malalim sa medulla is your juxtamedullary. Yung other type ng nephron na mababaw lang, mas proximated siya sa cortex is your cortical nephrons. Yan. Nako nga. Yung urea cycle. Okay. Yan. You can parang okay. Asan na yung part? Ito, this one. Let's proceed to this one, no? The renin, angiotensin, aldosterone hormones mechanism. Ilang beses ko na din na banggit to, no? Or na tackle or nabangga during the lectures, no? So the mechanism initiated under low blood pressure conditions. Pag mababa yung blood pressure, ma-activate ang RAAS, renin, angiotensin, aldosterone, counteracts the dropping of blood pressure. So tataas. So again, renin is released by juxtaglomerular cells with the help of the macula densa found sa DCT, no? Yung juxtaglomerular apparatus or complex. So renin converts angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1. Ang angiotensinogen is produced by your liver. Again, your renin is produced at the at the kidney. Ang nagpo-produce nun ay yung juxtaglomerular cells. Okay? Na nakikita in between your macula densa and your afferent, no? Sa gitna ng afferent arteriole and sa DCT, no? Ngayon, i-convert ni renin yung angiotensinogen na pinoproduce ni liver, ayan, into angiotensin 1. Ayan, as you can see there, no? Pag nag-drop yung blood pressure. Ngayon, si angiotensin converting enzymes or your ACE in the lungs, which I mentioned in the last discussion, converts now here angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. This angiotensin 2 is a potent vasoconstrictor. So, paliliitin niya yung butas as you can see it here. There, no? So, malaki yung butas ng dugo, ng blood vessels, no? Sisikip ngayon yan. No? Potent vasoconstrictor which stimulates aldosterone secretion. Pag lumiit ngayon yan, okay? Pag lumiit ngayon yung butas, mas stimulate si aldosterone, no? As a sensation of thirst and ADH secretion. Ang ADH again ay anti-diuretic hormone. So, pipigilan niya umihi, no? Babawasan niya yung tubig na lumalabas. So, ibig sabihin, pag may ADH or antidiuretic hormone, tataas yung absorption ng water. And meron tayong sensation of thirst pag na-activate si aldosterone. So, ayun. Aldosterone acts on the DCT and the collecting ducts to increase sodium reabsorption and therefore water absorption. Kasi sabi ko nga sa inyo, di ba? Where there is salt, there is water. So, hand in hand sila. Ayan, further explanation niya lang yan. Ayan, sabi ko nga, no? The ADH or the antidiuretic hormone sa hypothalamus naman to. If you can remember, no? Also, other term for antidiuretic hormone is your vasopressin, no? Stored sa posterior pituitary gland, vasopressin. And vasopressin. Osmoreceptors in the thalamus, hypothalamus detect in increased osmolality of interstitial fluid, stimulating ADH to be released. Yung baroreceptor din ng heart, no? Ng atria ng heart. So paano nga daw na-activate ang ADH, yung osmoreceptor sa hypothalamus pag nag-increase yung osmolality sa interstitial fluid. Ayan, lalabas yung ADH. Also, yung baroreceptor sa atria ng heart, yung chamber sa taas, no? Mag-stimulate din kapag bumaba yung blood pressure. Kasi nga konti na lang yung babalik na blood, ma-activate yung baroreceptors, activate yung ADH. Ngayon, mag-act yung ADH sa DCT, sa distal convoluted tubule at sa collecting ducts to increase water reabsorption by the insertion of, yung sinabi ko kanina, aquaporins or the AQP1, no? Countering any decrease in blood pressure or increase in solute concentration. So pag dumami yung blood ay yung water na na-absorb, dadami din, no? Dadami yung blood volume, thus increasing now higher tendency, increasing the tendency of upregulating your blood pressure. So insufficient ADH secretion, kapag kulang yung ADH secretion, ibig sabihin ihi yung pasyente, may tawag tayo doon, no? May sakit tayong tawag doon. Ang tawag doon ay diabetes insipidus. Okay? Iba yung diabetes mellitus. Okay? Yung diabetes mellitus is your typical diabetes na sinasabi natin kapag may dysregulation sa sugar, no? Kapag hindi makalibrate yung sugar. Meanwhile, kapag yung sa water, yung problem, ang term natin doon ay diabetes insipidus. Okay? Walang kinalaman yung dalawa sa isa't isa. Yung isa sa pancreas, yung isa sa hypothalamus, pero parehas lang na diabetes yung name nila. Okay? Remember, diabetes mellitus and diabetes insipidus, magkaiba sila. Yan. Effect niya, syempre, pag lumabas si aquaporins, more water na ma-reabsorb, no? Ganon din sa urine concentration. Pag na-activate si antidiuretic hormone, expect natataas yung concentration ni urine at bababa yung volume niya. Kasi nga, nag-absorb ka ng water. Atrial natriuretic hormone. Ito nakikita naman to sa right atrium ng heart, no? Produced by the right atrium of the heart. Kapag nag-stretch sila more than normal. Again, this is produced by the cell in the right atrium. So, ibig sabihin galing siya sa vena cava. Correct? Either superior or inferior. Ngayon, kapag nag-stretch sila more than normal, ibig sabihin, pag mataas na ngayon yung blood volume, contradictory dun sa isa, no? Yung baroreceptor sa atrium kanina nasabi ko, ito contradictory naman siya. So, increase stretch due to high blood volume. Mataas yung dugo niya. I mean, madami yung dugo niya. So, the atrial natriuretic hormone decreases blood volume by number one. Pag na-release siya ni heart, no, ni right atrium, mag-e-effect siya sa kidneys. Ano yung mangyari? Number one, inhibiting sodium reabsorption. Sabi nga, where there is sodium, there is water. So therefore, less ang water na reabsorb. Number two, i-inhibit yung ADH production. Yung antidiuretic hormone, manenegate, matatanggal yung aquaporins na sinend ni hypothalamus. Therefore, tataas ngayon yung ma-excrete na water, mas iihi ng iihi si patient. Number three, increase volume of urine produced. Effect na rin. Number four, venous return is lower. Kapag bumaba na ngayon, mas dumami yung naproproduce na ihi, therefore bababa yung babalik na blood dun sa heart. Venous return is lowered, volume in the right atrium is decreased. Therefore, na-achieve ni atrial natriuretic hormone yung goal niya. So, kabaliktaran ni ANH, si ADH. Okay? Si ADH, ayaw niyang madami kang iihi. Si ANH, sasabihin niyang, oops, sobrang dami ng dugo, umihi ka na umihi. Okay. Plasma clearance, usually ano to sa may chronic kidney disease, no? The volume of plasma that is cleared of a specific substance per minute. So calculated substance using substances like creatinine, no? Ang creatinine natin ay high creatinine sa ihi or sa blood, sorry, indicates chronic kidney disease, no? Depende sa levels. Yan. I think yun na. I think wala na. Okay. I think yun na. Ay, okay. Ito pala. Urine movement, no? So, again, final topics na lang yata to nito. So, again, how does it move, no? So, first, yung urine will be produced by the kidney. And after a series of work, sobrang daming nephron na mag-work together dyan para makapag-produce ng excrete na urine. Yan, mula sa hilum ng kidney, lalabas dyan yung ihi. Yan, going to your ureter, going to your urethra, no? Dyan sa urethra mo, may different types of muscles dyan din. You have smooth muscle layer and a connective tissue, no? Trigone ang tawag natin dyan. dahil sa tatlong butas, no? The trigone opening of the urethra. Anong meaning ng trigone? Yung tatlong butas, no? Ay, yung isa papunta dito sa left, yung isa sa right, yung isa sa urethra. Okay? So, trigone ang meaning yan. Opening ng ureter. External sphincter, yung peritoneum mo, parietal peritoneum is actually holding, no, the ureter in place, urinary bladder in place, no? So this is your urinary bladder. So pagbaba ng ihi mula sa ureter mo, they will be collected here, no, sa urinary bladder. This has the capability to distend, no, na paano ba distend? Lumaki in order to house and cater the amount of um, urine. Kaya ano, yun yung basic reason kung bakit kaya mong i-hold yung ihi mo after a long time dahil nako-collect silang lahat sa urinary bladder mo. Okay? So, yun. Urinary bladder, transitional epithelium ang ureters. Ang urinary bladder is a hollow muscular container in pelvic cavity posterior to symphysis pubis, lined with transitional epithelium. Muscle part of the wall is known as the detrusor muscles. No, this detrusor muscles has the capability to expand or um, lumaki, no, to house the amount of the urine na kayang hold. Next is the trigone. Interior, so sa baba ng urinary bladder, this is a triangular area between the exit entry of the two ureters and the exit of the urethra. The area expands less than the rest of the bladder during feeling. So, imagine a balloon. Ito yung pinagawa sa amin noon eh. Paano mo i-imagine ang trigone? Imagine a balloon, no? So, kapag hindi, wala pa siyang hangin, yun lang siya. Ngayon, as you try, pinagawa nun is before inflating the balloon, bago hipan yung balloon, no? Nagpa-drawing ng tatlong butas. Okay? I mean, ng tatlong dots and a triangle shape, no? So, let me try to make a drawing and illustration here. Hold up. Yan. Okay? So, imagine a balloon, ganyan. Hindi pa siya inflated, ganyan. So, ang pinagawa nun is nagpa-drawing ng, ay sorry. Yan, nagpa-drawing ng tatlong dots. Yan. Tatlong dots na naka-triangular in shape. Wait lang. Think sobrang, is it sobrang, ayan. Yan. Yan, better I guess. Yan. So, tatlong dots na triangular in shape. Ngayon, pag hinipan and measure, no? Measure the distance between them. Ngayon, by the time na hinipan yung balloon na yan, uh, by the time na hihipan yung balloon na yan, mapapansin natin na sorry, mapapansin natin na yung tatlong dots na yan would stretch as well, no? Significantly stretch, no? Pag nang ay pag nangyari to, many pathological things would happen kapag sa ureter, no? Pwedeng mag-open, lalaki yung butas nito, causing now the tendency ng backflow, aakyat yung ihi. Or pwedeng ma-open yung nandito sa ureter, parang drawing parang ma-open dito sa may urethra, lalabas involuntarily yung ihi, no? So, paano natin i i-contradict yun, no? Or paano natin i-regulate yun para hindi yun mangyari? Ang galing nga ng ng plans ni pagkakagawa ni Lord John, no? So, ang ginawa niya, gumawa siya ng trigone. This one, the triangle trigone. Anong function ng trigone na yan? Yung part ng muscle na yan, hindi sila nag-expand. Okay? Hindi siya lumolobo or hindi siya lumalaki kapag dumadami yung ihing laman. So, paano? Halimbawa, ito yan. Ito yung uninflated bladder, no? Tapos, I mean yung normal lang na shape ng bladder or itsura ng bladder. So, andito yung trigone. Yan. Ngayon, once na umihi yung patient, I mean, hindi umihi yung patient, syempre, lolobo yan. Lalaki ngayon yung bladder niya. Kasi may ihi na, no? May lamang ihi sa loob. Pero, yung measurement ng trigo niya, same pa din. Hindi nagbago. Okay? Yan. Sobrang kakaiba siya compared sa iba. Para, sa ibang part ng muscles para hindi lumabas yung ihi, no? So, yun lang. And aside from that, no, so pag galing na doon, so urethral open, the, uh, yan. So, meron na tayo ureteral openings, tama? Yan, ureteral openings and your urethral opening, ganyan. So, meron tayong urinary sphincters. May mga nagko-control regulation. Parang sa digestive lang, no? May mga doors tayo. We have the internal urinary sphincter and then the external, no? Sa males, mas elastic daw siya, no? And smooth to keep semen from entering the urinary bladder during ejaculation. So, ayan siya. Yan, yun yung internal, no? Sphincter sa males. Sa external urinary sphincter, the skeletal muscles surround the urethra as it extends to the pelvic floor, act as a valve, no? So, ito na yung external. Yan. Ito na yung external sphincter. Ayun yung internal sphincter. Sa males, yun yung internal sphincter. Ito na ngayon yung external sphincter. Skeletal muscle siya, so kaya mong kontrolin, no? Um, I don't know, no? Sa males, you can actually stop, no? Stop the urination midway kaso masakit. Habang umihi ka, pwede mo siyang i-stop. Pero ang nag-work doon is your external urinary sphincter, no? Yung internal urinary sphincter mo, um, hindi mo siya controlled, pero dapat regulated siya na maayos para kapag nag-ejaculate nga nun, kasi nga dadaan yung semen dun nga sa urethra, no? Magka-close para hindi maliligaw yung semen papunta sa urinary bladder. Ayan. So again, yan, male urethra extends from the inferior part of the urinary bladder, this one, through the penis. Yan. You call this now the penile urethra. So mas mahaba yung urethra ng males kumpara sa female. Kasi ito pa lang yung opening ng urethra nila from the urinary bladder, then ito na agad yung orifice nila, yung external orifice. So maliit lang. Again, sympathetic and parasympathetic, nandun na ulit. Fight or flight, rest and digest, di ba? So, pag fight and flight, you cannot wiwi, no? Hindi ka makaihi. So, yun, as mentioned, nung isang classmate niya last time during your exam, no? An inability to urinate. Yan. Dahil nga sa sympathetic stimulation. However, pag parasympathetic, sympathetic yung urination, I mean stimulated, ayun, mag-open yung urethra, makakaihi ka. Yan. Micturition is ihi, no? Yung when we say micturition is ano, yung naiihi ka, no? So kailan mo malalaman or mafe-feel na naiihi ka? Okay, hindi dahil sinabi nung classmate mo na tara ihi tayo, ihi ka na. No, iba yun. So, meron kang sariling reflex, no? So, the urinary bladder is a reservoir for urine that can stretch and hold up to 1 liter due to folds of its wall and the transitional epithelium and the stretch of the smooth muscle, no? Anong type ng muscle? They are called the trusor muscles. So, micturition reflex is activated when the urinary bladder is stretched, no? Detected by stretch receptors as mentioned by Group 1. Section 9, no? Parasympathetic action potentials cause the trusor muscles to contract kasi nga naihi. And the decrease of somatic motor signals cause external urinary sphincter to relax, no? Walang higpit yung skeletal muscles, thus causing the external urethral sphincter to relax. Ayan, how much urine would be in the urinary bladder to increase the pressure to an uncomfortable point up until 500 ml. Pero it can hold up to 1,000 pero hanggang 500 ml. Baka naman 1 litro yung inihi, hindi pwede yun. Hanggang 2 baso, pwede. Yan. So, how does it happen? Urine filling in the urinary bladder stimulates stretch receptor to produce APs. The APs are carried by the sensory neurons to the sacral segment, spinal cord to the pelvic nerves. In response, APs, yan, parasympathetic fiber, yon magkakaroon na ng smooth muscle contraction, no, ng detrusor muscles to contract. In addition, madi-decrease yung somatic para yung external sphincter ay mag-relax. Urine flows from urine and bladder, then the pressure is great enough to force the urine through the urethra while the external sphincter is relaxed. The micturition reflex normally produces a series of contraction of the urinary bladder. Then AP is carried by sensory neurons from stress receptors in the urinary bladder wall, also ascend to spinal cord to a micturition center in the pons and the cerebellum or cerebrum. So pons pa din, no? Tapos aakyat doon, tapos babalik yung signals. Yung reticular formation natin, if you can remember, kasali siya dyan. The micturition reflex integrated in the spinal cord is automatic but is either stimulated or inhibited by descending APs sent to the sacral region of the spinal cord. Blah, blah, blah. Ayan, aging, ano yung mga sakit, no, na nakukuha natin sa aging. Number one, increased collagen deposition, pwedeng reduced renal blood flow and glomerular filtration rate, loss of nephron, abnormal nephron structure, yung mga yan, mga nakukuha natin pag tumatanda. So yan, mga diseases natin. Common diseases natin sa urinary system, we have glomare, glomerulonephritis. Yan. Glomerulonephritis, chronic pyelonephritis. Yan, pyelo. Ibig sabihin may nana yung ihi. E. coli. Ay, hindi pala, joke lang, sorry. Pyuria pala yung may nana yung ihi, no? Pyuria. Often begins as bacterial, tas aakyat to, no? Umaakyat yung infection sa kidney. So, imbis na sa pelvis lang, no? Yung buong kidney ma-affect. Renal failure, yan, acute renal and chronic renal. Pag acute lang, 1 to 2 days lang. Yan. Yan. And yung, ang tawag dito, yung connection niya with others, no? Okay, that's it. That's it for your urinary. And last one, we'll be having one more topic. Thank you.